In this example, I'm going to show you how to make a time plot in Excel for this problem here about the women running the Boston Marathon. So it wants you to make a graph that shows change over time and then describe the pattern you see. So here's the data. I don't want to type all that into Excel, so I can click this little data set button down there or figure out which data set it's in. Under resources, you can find the data sets, download them all. So I'm going to click data set here. It says that this is the marathon data set. If I click Excel here, I'm going to click save, open this. It'll open that data set for me. So I need to click enable editing. So there's some security feature there. Now I want to make sure that this is the same data that I want to use. So I'm going to click back on my assignment here and open this back up. Here's the data set. So it goes from 1972 with a value of 190 to 209 with a value of 152. So I'm going to open this up, and it starts 1972, and it's a very good idea to check these data points. There have been a time or two when I've seen errors. So this looks pretty good, 2009 to 152. They all look about right. So here's the data set we're going to use, and it says to make a graph that shows change over time. So that's a time plot. So now that we've opened this marathon, we're going to insert some. I want to insert a line chart. Line chart's a good way to see the change over time. So the line chart, select that. So immediately it plotted two lines here, right? So it plotted one line that was years and one line that was time. So that's definitely not what we want. So we're going to have to click select data. So the chart range, we want to click here. We have year and time. So do you think we want to do year on this column or year on this column, year on this row? So for a time chart, we want to do time always on the horizontal, right? So as we move to the right, we move forward in time. So we need to create this to where we're plotting time on the vertical axis and the time that it took to run the race on the vertical axis and the year on the horizontal axis. So for I'm going to edit the horizontal axis, and I'm going to have that be our years. So I select all of those years. Let's see what that did. Okay, so that's now I have these two charts on here. So I still need to select my data a little further. So now I'm going to take this year data and I'm going to remove it, because I don't want to see the year data on my time chart. I want to see the time data. The years are what's going to be the horizontal axis labeling. So now we've got actually what we want. We've got the time over a period of years. So that looks okay. I don't like how this is scaled though, because we have a ton of white space beneath it. So we can click on this horizontal axis. If you double click, it usually pulls up this format and this format axis screen. So they're all set to automatic. These are our options. I'm going to change the minimum of my axis, because it doesn't look like any of my points really drop below 140. So I might be safe to change the minimum of my axis to something like 120. That should get rid of a lot of my white space below. And now we can see clearly that over time, since 1972, there's been a fairly steady decrease in the time it took people to run these marathons, women to run it. It looks like it levels out after about 1988, right? So we can change the titles and add markers and things like that. Let's see what the question was asking. So the question is, what overall pattern do you see? Have the time stopped improving in years? If so, when did the improvement end? So this first one says, women's time showed an overall pattern of improvement until about the mid-80s. Since then, there's been no significant improvement. This says the same thing until the mid-70s. This says that it showed an overall pattern of improvement. I don't think that's correct because it sort of leveled out. This one says until the mid-90s there was a pattern of improvement. So let's see, it's either the mid-80s or the mid-70s. So let's go back to our chart. And in the mid-70s, it looks like we're still in a decline. It looks like around the mid-80s when we started to level off. So it looks like A would probably be the right answer for this one.